Gopidana Vallabha Girivada Dhari. Jai Gopidana Vallabha Girivada Dhari. Yashodanandana Brajodana Randana Yashodanandana Brajodana Randana Yamuna Tira Bananchari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Gaur Sivanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Nayam Vishupad Paramahamsa, Tri Prajgachaja Stotra Satya, Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Terabai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Skandiviti, Founder Charyas Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki, Samavata Bhakti Vrinda ki, Harinama Sankirtana ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Dainita Gaura Pimanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Agyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sthiti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasamam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and the loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasthaya Namahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Sarabhyai Namaha Om Sarabhyai Namaha Om Sarabhyai Namaha Mukam karoti vātanam pangum nangayate girim yatkripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurun Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class, continuing to read from Canto number 1, chapter 7, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. Text number? 27. Yes. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya Brahmam Astram Padarshitam Naivasau Veda Samharam Prana Badha Upastite Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Vetidam Dona Putrasya
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Brahmam Astram Padarshitam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Prana Badha Upastite
Pranavadha Upastite
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Vetidam Dona Putrasya
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Brahmam Astram Padarshitam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Prana Badha Upastite
Pranavadha Upastite
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Vetidam Dona Putrasya
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Brahmam Astram Padarshitam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Prana Badha Upastite
Pranavadha Upastite
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Pranabadha Upastite
Pranabadha Upastite
Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Brahmamastram Pradarshitam
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Pranabadha Upastite
Pranabadha Upastite
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Vetedam Drona Putrasya
Brahmam Astram Padarshitam
Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Naivasau Veda Samharam
Pranabadha Upastite
Pranabadha Upastite Sri Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uvacha, said, Veta, just know from me,
Just know from me
Idam, this, Drona Putrasya,
Drona Putrasya
of the son of Drona,
of the son of Drona
Brahmam Astram,
Brahmamastram
hymns of the Brahma,
hymns of the Brahma
nuclear weapon.
nuclear weapon
Pradarshitam, exhibited, na, not, eva, even, asau, he, Veda, know it,
know it
samharam,
Samharam
retraction,
retraction,
pranabadhe,
pranabadha,
extinction of life,
extinction of life,
upastite,
upasthite,
being imminent.
being imminent.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death." Kind of repeat after me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
"Know from me
know from me
that this is the act
that this is the act
of the son of Drona.
of the son of Dona.
He has thrown
He has thrown
the hymns of nuclear energy,
the hymns of nuclear energy,
Brahmastra,
Brahmastra,
and he does not know
and he does not know
how to retract the glare.
how to retract the glare.
He has helplessly done this,
He has helplessly done this,
being afraid of imminent death."
being afraid of imminent death.
Purport. The Brahmastra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on total combustibility, and so the Brahmastra also acts. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. It is a different science, and in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatvarsha. Bharatvarsha ki. The subtle science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still subtler. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who made use of this subtle science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of this imminent death, and thus the practice was not only improper, but also irreligious. As the son of a Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes, and for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself. Translation again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death." So in the purport, when describing these hymns chanted by uh, yes, Ashwatthama. Prabhupada, he writes in italic. Italic means it's like underlining, emphasizing that the science of chanting hymns is also material. So there's two sciences. Actually, practically speaking, everything is a science. These sciences, Vedic culture is very, very perfect in that it is based on science, actual science. Mm. There is material science and there is spiritual science. That's why Vedic uh, education is based on what is called Chaturvidya. Chaturvidya, char or chatur, which means four, and vidya, which can be translated as knowledge or science. So these sciences were traditionally meant only for the dvijas. Uh, so it means education is not for everybody. That type of education, Vedic education, uh, which is giving both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge, or material science and spiritual science, is meant to be given only to those who are qualified and who will not, like in this case, misuse that science. Mantras, they are uh, they are a kind of weapon. Mantras are a kind of weapon. We know that astra, the word astra, means weapon, and it's just like if you have a knife and you give it to a small child, that is irresponsible because that is a weapon which should not be given in the hands of someone who is not qualified. So it's a very important point, actually, that education, especially, let's say, Vedic education, which is uh, based on science, again, both material science and spiritual science, is uh, is meant to be given by qualified teachers to qualified students. Qualified teachers are described, of course. Uh, they are the teachers are generally the brahmanas. So um, material sciences, especially in connection with sound vibration. Sound vibration uh, is very um, sound vibration in itself is very powerful, and uh, just like in ordinary, whenever we talk, that is sound vibration. If we hear, for example, Srila Prabhupada giving lectures, if you ever listen attentively, will notice how Srila Prabhupada was expert in sound vibration. He would just naturally, because he was totally transcendentally situated, he had the natural ability of giving a special effect in his speaking, sometimes by repeating, or sometimes by even actually on Prabhupada's last hours. There's a recorded Prabhupada, on his in his room, on his bed in Vrindavan, where Prabhupada could not move. You must have seen this recorded clip. Jayadvaita Maharaj is there holding the microphone, and Prabhupada was continued to give his purports on the Bhagavatam, and one particular clip recording where Prabhupada, people who are about to leave their body, naturally, what is very important, they convey, or they tell to other people. So Prabhupada, in the last few days, one of the topics that he discussed was about Varnashrama, interestingly enough. And in that particular section where Prabhupada speaks about Varnashrama, he explains how the reason why Varnashrama is so important is that people need to be brought to the mode of goodness. And if you hear that attentively, the word Prabhupada emphasizes, that word. Even though Prabhupada is like having, his body is like practically finished, without energy, without material energy, of course fully conscious. But even in those last days, Prabhupada was still using, because it was natural for him, it was as natural as breathing, emphasis on certain words. So sound, just like if somebody yells at you, that is not very good sound vibration, then we immediately feel bad. Or if someone doesn't talk nicely. That's why in the Vedic culture, those who have a leadership position, like kings, one of the kings actually are meant to develop many, many qualities. They're all listed. One of them is what is called eloquence. Eloquence means to speak very nicely, to speak very pleasingly. Some people, we just, like Srila Prabhupada's lectures, we can go on hearing because Prabhupada's lectures are very nicely spoken, and of course the content also is very profound, very meaningful. So in other words, sound vibration, as is being referred to here, is a science. And of course, in the context being discussed here, that's in terms of manipulating or properly utilizing Vedic hymns. Vedic hymns we call mantra. So that's why learning of mantra in Gurukul, we were discussing the other day, for children at an early age, it means between the age of, just like we were mentioning how this one Gurukul boy, we met him when we were in Vrindavan. The teacher brought the certificate that he received for breaking the world record of reciting the Bhagavad Gita, in less than 1 hour. So learning a mantra is very important in the Vedic culture. Sound vibration, and of course the everyday the sound vibration we are meant to practice is the sound vibration of the chanting of the holy name, or different mantras, just like when we attend Bhagavatam class. And we will see when our Gurukul will be functional. The traditional Gurukul is children spend many hours. When I was in Indonesia, that was about 20 years back, when I was doing some research and comparing Gurukul here in India, the system of Gurukul in India, and the system of, we could call it, just like there's Christian Gurukul. What do they call Christian Gurukul? Seminary. Yeah. You know what is seminary? Seminary is where, in Christianity, where young boys, they go to get training and to be educated how to become a priest. Yeah. I went to seminary like from the age of 14. They have a special, so many years of study. So there's what is called minor seminary. That's up to the level of graduation. And then there's major ceremony, or theology, 4 years of theology, which is like a postgraduate study. So in Indonesia, they also have, you could say, Muslim Gurukula, because in Indonesia, just a few hundred years ago, it was all Hindu. Actually, not only Hindu, but Vaishnav. You could say Vaishnav Hindu or Vaishnavism. The kings were Vaishnavas. And they had Gurukulas. They had thousands of Gurukulas. And they still have thousands of Gurukulas in Indonesia. And of course, our Indonesian devotee just walked out. But anyways, so I visited. They have in some Gurukulas, well, they call it Pondok Pesantren. Pondok is like similar to Kula. Pondok is a place of residence. So they have one of the Pondok Pesantren that I studied had like over 3,000 students, 3,000 Gurukul boys. That's a lot. And I spent many hours, and that's one of the main activity is to just sit down with book, and for hours and hours they recite. And also, after a few years, those who are a little bit older, they get up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to chant on japa. They also chant japa. Christians also chant, everyone, actually. Buddhists also, everyone. Japa chanting is like standard. When we were in the seminary, we had like this different, a little bit different, but and one would chant the holy names of the Lord. So this science is presently lost, that is being referred to here, Brahmastra, different hymns. But I was mentioning recently how in South India, I think in Kerala, they recently discovered some texts, because India is still having many places, many libraries, many old libraries, where they have hundreds, if not thousands, of old manuscripts, some of them still written on palm leaves, that not yet translated. Actually, I heard that even some of the texts of our Goswamis, which is only 500 years ago, are still not all translated. why go back 500 years? Even the writings of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Why this is a sign of Kali Yuga? Because less and less people are taking interest, number one, in Dharma, and that means automatically also that less and less people are interested in Sanskrit. And all of this knowledge is concealed, is hidden in the Sanskrit language. So part of our mission as an institution and as a movement is to, if we want to reintroduce the Vedic culture, then Sanskrit is an important part of that culture. I mean, the whole culture is actually written in Sanskrit, and therefore Prabhupada, he wanted that we have. That's why some years back, when Bhagirath Prabhu, we were discussing a few days back, Prabhu Kishora and Bhagirath, they had both come to India. That was in like 2003. That was like over 20 years ago. And within a short time, Bhagirath, who was only 16, 17 years old at the time, around that time, they started this Srimad Bhagavatam, like Mahavidya in Govardhan, for the main reason of teaching our devotees Sanskrit in connection with Prabhupada's books. So Sanskrit, learning of Sanskrit is for Brahmanas especially. Of course, those who are Dvija, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Of course, in the Vedic culture, even those who are Shudra would know Sanskrit, at least what we call spoken Sanskrit. Spoken Sanskrit is not so difficult to learn. There are still villages in India where everyone in that village speaks Sanskrit. So not only we need to establish, Vrindavan villages, but we need to establish Vrindavan villages where people speak Sanskrit. So the chanting of mantra, one Indian person that was in some years back in Cambodia. He was living there for many years. So, there are Indian families in many different countries. So he was teaching Sanskrit. He was a Sanskrit teacher, and he was mentioning how even if one doesn't understand Sanskrit, Prabhupada also made that same point. When one chants Sanskrit, or when one hears that sound vibration of Sanskrit, it has, even on the material level, it is very, what is it? Very healthy, we could say medicinal. Just like when it's a kind of medicine. It's a sound medicine, we could say, a medicine based on sound. We could say it's a kind of therapy, and therefore in the Vedic culture, the importance of associating with Brahmanas, because Brahmanas are on that higher level, and generally traditional Brahmanas, they will, like Prabhupada, for example, would be quoting from Shastra all the time. So he would be speaking Sanskrit verses, and therefore traditionally in temples, the local brahmanas they would spend hours simply reciting, either reading or simply by heart, reciting different verses. So that is something very important and very potent. This and Prabhupada makes the point that someone who was a chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. In this case, Asvatthama only knew how to apply the weapon, but did not know how to retract it. Yeah. So, any thoughts or questions on this? No one is interested in weapons.
What do you experience when you chant purification mantras? Do you feel the purification? Every day I see, do you feel the purification or just mechanical?
Feel?
Huh?
Without feeling, not mental.
Without?
Feeling,
Yes.
not work properly.
Not work properly.
So I think the feelings energize the mantra. The feelings give energy, means moving force for the mantra. Not just sound vibration, but the feeling behind the sound vibration gives energy, gives force, gives strength, and then the mantra works. And the proper feeling amplifies the effect.
Yes. Well, when Prabhupada, as we know, explains in what a mood or mentality, he gives the example of the small child. A small child crying for mother, right? That very nice example that Prabhupada is giving, which is, yeah, supporting what you're telling, that there needs to be, to get the to get the maximum effect or the best effect of chanting, that aspect of mood or mentality needs to be there. The tendency generally, of course, is to chant mechanically. But which is listed as one of the 10 offenses against the holy name. So, yeah.
But we list 10 negative feelings. So why not we are using 10 positive instructions to make sure that in every day just we don't make mistake. So why not we focus on the positive side? Why we use these 10 offenses every day like a meditation? That becomes negative meditation.
You can take it negatively or you can take it positively.
How? If you focus on negative feelings,
No, just
then
like,
naturally, how you make it?
the first offense is to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord. So therefore, you take it positively by by endeavoring to give honor and respect to Vaishnavas.
So that's we should chant. Honor and reverence for devotees is the first rule of our life.
Well, we're following parampara. These 10 offenses have been given to us, and we should know both the negative and the positive.
But who instructed our parampara to chant it every day?
Srila Prabhupada.
When?
I don't know the date, but
But I'm not sure.
well,
Maybe he
So-
mentioned that it is nice to learn.
well, it's in the
but
Bhagavatam.
Daily chant,
Huh?
daily chant is a quite.
Well,
I'm not challenging you, but I know that some senior Vaishnavas have different opinions. That daily chanting is not really help. We have to know it, but we better to chant the positive feelings every day. Then it's more easy to keep the proper consciousness. Then, as
I-
you told, that there are positive sides. So why not use the positive side?
I don't have a reference in terms of when this was instituted within the society in terms of chanting the 10 offenses, but on various occasions, especially when Prabhupada would be giving initiation, he would make reference to these
Yeah,
10
initiation
offenses.
is always mentioned because then, given the instruction how to chant the mantra, initiation is almost all the classes about the 10
Correct.
offenses in the Gaudiya Math also.
Yes.
So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati give classes and initiation about the 10 offenses. That's sure, but the daily practice, I don't see
Yeah. Well, I guess
strong evidence that it is given by Srila Prabhupada that daily we use that.
yeah. As I mentioned, I cannot give a reference
Yeah.
as to when or how it was introduced as a daily practice. Maybe something for someone to research upon. So, anyways, I mean, devotees have different views or opinions about different things.
Yeah, but if any devotee research, nothing will happen. They go to the temple and they say, okay, that's all.
Well, we can have a negative impression like this, that if somebody does research, nothing will happen, but that's not necessarily the case. Have you done some research on it?
Not me, but I heard some
Some
senior
devotees.
Vaishnavas who told that better not to use it for every daily practice. Like better to remember. I don't want to mention names.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
But like GBCs have different requests. I don't know. I know all GBCs ones is not request. Yes, I was grown up. Sometimes we use, sometimes we didn't. GBCs didn't mind.
Yeah. Anyway, something. There are many things that require more close attention, and but generally, whatever it needs requires a bit more attention. Somebody has to give some time to do a little bit of research and whatnot.
Yeah, research needed because that's Sadhguru Shastra is the base of all practice.
Yeah.
Yesterday I just learned not from authorized source, but there are some specific yantras which instruct the mantras to chant, like Shri Yantra instruct the energetizing process. So there are, and these science are all connected.
Yantras.
Yantras.
Yeah.
Like a nice draw,
Nice
picture.
picture.
Kind of. Then you can learn, and in the yantra there are mantra, bij,
Yeah.
and then they teach how to chant complex mantra by showing the yantras.
In Vastu they use yantras.
Yeah.
In Vastu.
And they chant yantra mantras. When they finish their building, then they chant different mantras for different part of.
Yeah.
And also when we are worshipping the deity, also we chant mantras.
Yes. Yeah. Arjuna was chanting different mantras before asking his question to Arjuna. I mean to Krishna. Well, the mantras, prayers are mantras also.
Yeah, but they learn how to manipulate the energy, the matter, by chanting mantras.
Yes. Yeah. It's a very, practically lost science because Vedic culture has been neglected. So part of reviving Vedic culture actually is to give proper importance and attention to the mantras, and so many aspects are there, of course, regarding that. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
How many rounds Srila Prabhupada chants?
Prabhupada was chanting 16 rounds.
16.
Yes.
But his Guru Maharaj said his disciple how many? 64 rounds?
Yes.
How he 16? Because his Guru Maharaj said every disciple 64.
Yes. That is called Kala Deshapatra. Prabhupada was introducing Vedic culture outside of India, and actually initially he requested his disciples to chant 64 rounds. That's recorded. But they told Prabhupada, we can't do that. Then Prabhupada adjusted. That's how it is explained. Prabhupada adjusted to 32 rounds. So not everyone can do like that, because Srila Prabhupada was himself someone who is acharya. He can take such kind of decisions for himself and for others. Yeah. Prabhupada was having a very special mission to introduce this Vedic knowledge, Vedic culture, in a completely foreign country, and so many different foreign countries, actually. Yeah. So Prabhupada adjusted the chanting to 16. Most of the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur were grihasthas, and they were, at that time, also the context was different. They were able to chant 64 rounds. When Prabhupada introduced Vedic culture in a different context, in a different culture, Western culture, then as an acharya, as an empowered acharya, he adjusted the number of rounds to 16.
Sri Madhavananda Prabhu mentioned in one discussion that we have many different friends in different branch of the Gaudiya Math, temple leaders, senior persons, and he just asked what happened at that time when Sri Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj was establishing and guiding the Gaudiya Math. And he told that there were some instructions for 64, but it was not like every temple, every branch should follow that. It was like a sort of Kala Desha Patra type of instruction. And many temples instructed disciples for minimum 4 rounds to chant as a content. Right. And they was teaching the disciples chant much more in different occasions, but as a whole, they didn't ask more.
Minimum 4.
Minimum 4.
Right.
And then they inspired devotees like brahmacharis, like different persons to chant more, reach the 64, because that is means the full strong sadhana to have proper changing in the heart. Yeah. But the general instruction was not like every temple should like. We have also GBC instructions 16 we should follow as Prabhupada did that for this school.
Right.
So this.
Yeah.
They also was like not liberal, but they understood the different capacity of devotees, and they could join without making too much disturbance. They are not able to do.
Right.
Then what to do?
Right.
They cannot give service. They accepted this kind of persons, devotees also.
Right.
This is good to chant 16 minimum. It's a kind of basement of our real seriousness. It's not so difficult to chant 16.
Right.
Maybe sometimes difficult in one time to sit down and chant.
Right.
But then you do 2 half and then.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not so. We can chant 30, 40 if we put an emphasis on that practice.
Well, at the time, there's a quote. Srila Prabhupada mentions how his Guru Maharaj had once stated that if one doesn't chant 64 rounds,
not a human being. Sure, that was
quite
written.
Strong. Prabhupada made similar statement that if one doesn't chant 16 rounds, he will not be sufficiently protected from Maya.
He will be felt for effect of Maya.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Enechi Aushaudi Maya. It is the medicine to protect us against the influence of Maya. Of course, it's not only the number as such, but it's okay. Jai Granthala Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Pimanandi.